Hello, I'm Dominic Walker, JMW's Inside Man. My guest is Grace O'Driscoll. Grace is a solicitor within JMW's Employment Law Department. So recently the Chancellor has announced the spring statement, and we're always a little bit nervous about these things, about what the Chancellor's going to say or not going to say. What do employers need to know from a business, from an employment perspective, Grace?
So the spring statement announced changes to current tax rates as well as other significant reliefs and some increases as well. Specifically, smaller businesses have been anticipating the changes in this statement as they've been very heavily affected by the pandemic. Specifically in terms of hospitality, they'd previously been afforded the reduced VAT rate of 5%, which is now returning to the 20% mark. For businesses with employees, Rishi Sunak has also announced that the employment allowance will increase to £5,000 from April. So this is the amount that you can claim against your employer's Class 1 national insurance, and previously the allowance was £4,000.
You mentioned small businesses there, Grace. What effect will this have on small businesses?
So the government has predicted that 500,000 small businesses will benefit from the employment allowance increase from the £4,000 that it was previously. They are also estimating that 50,000 businesses will no longer be liable to pay employer national insurance contributions due to the threshold being increased on national insurance. This does take into account, however, the Health and Social Care Levy, which will introduce a new personal income tax from existing tax and national insurance deductions, and that comes in from 2023. So the Health and Social Care Levy will actually mean that employees will effectively take home slightly less of their pay, about 1.25% less of their take-home pay. And so in terms of businesses, they'll need to think about ways of possibly alleviating this slight salary decrease by offering things like salary sacrifice schemes or other non-cash benefits in order to attract employees.
And I know this is sort of a bit crystal ball on my part, but, are these measures sufficient? And if you've got that crystal ball, what can we expect going forward?
So it does seem that many businesses were expecting greater tax reliefs to be introduced in this spring statement, and many organisations have said that the rise in national insurance, the increase in the employment allowance, and obviously the cut in the fuel duty won't be enough to protect their small businesses from rising inflation. However, it is expected that the Chancellor will introduce more reforms in the autumn budget, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. And separately, it was expected in the spring statement that the Chancellor would hear more about government plans to regulate umbrella companies. The Fair Umbrella campaign has called for the creation of a regulatory body for umbrella companies to address issues within the industry, and so we'd expect that that might be something that will come up in the autumn budget as well.
Grace, thank you so much for your insight, and Grace can help if you are an employer. So you can email insideman@jmw.co.uk or call 0161 82 81 999. I'm Dominic Walker, JMW's Inside Man.